Imagine this. You're trying to share a massive work file, right? And the official company system is just crawling along. So you quickly upload it to your personal cloud storage. Seems harmless, yeah. Just a little workaround to get the job done faster. Well, you just dip your toe into the world of shadow IT. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into that very world, those unimproved tech solutions popping up all over organizations, and surprising kind of crucial connection to modern cybersecurity, especially, in our increasingly complex multi-cloud reality. Our mission for you today is basically a shortcut, a way to get ahead, to proactively manage your digital world. We're going to unpack what shadow IT truly is, why employees actually turn to it, the significant risks it poses, and interestingly, some unexpected benefits too. Then we'll explore how cutting-edge solutions, thinking AI and automation here, are transforming how organizations navigate this landscape to really strengthen their data security. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is shadow IT? At its core, it's pretty simple. Any information technology system, any software, any solution used within an organization without explicit approval or, oversight from the official IT department. And it's really evolved, hasn't it? It's no longer just some physical server hidden under a desk somewhere.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, it's largely about cloud-based infrastructure and software as a service, or SaaS, applications. Think about it. Google Drive, Dropbox, Trello, even the latest AI tools like ChatGPT, or simply employees using their personal laptops for work tasks. These all fall under that shadow IT umbrella. And the scale of this is frankly surprising. Get this. The average company actually uses around 1,083 cloud services.
Wow, that many.
Yeah. But here's a kicker. Only about 108 of those are typically known to the IT department.
Right.
That leaves a staggering 975 services as shadow IT. That's a massive hidden digital underbelly that most organizations don't even know they have.
And what's often overlooked, I think, is that shadow IT rarely stems from, malicious intent.
Right.
Employees are typically just trying to work more efficiently. They often don't even realize the risks they might be introducing. The key drivers are usually pretty straightforward. There's often a perception that traditional IT processes are slow, maybe cumbersome, or just overly restrictive.
Yeah, I can see that. Bureaucracy getting in the way.
Exactly. Or maybe the official software just lacks certain features an employee really needs. Or perhaps it's the sheer convenience, Those widely available personal tools are just too tempting. And of course, with the increase in remote and hybrid work setups, it's even easier to just grab whatever tool is handy. It's kind of like a friend who buys a special kitchen gadget because the official one at their workplace is too slow, or maybe just doesn't do exactly what they need it to.
That's a good analogy.
And this highlights, I think, an important nuance. It's often a people issue stemming from initiative and problem solving, not defiance. It's really just people trying to be productive.
That's a fascinating reframe, truly. But here's where the real challenge emerges, isn't it? While intentions might be good, the risks introduced by shadow IT are substantial. They can lead to some pretty significant problems. These seemingly harmless workarounds, they aren't just minor inconveniences. They're fundamentally eroding your organization's digital trust and control, often from the inside out, and maybe without anyone even realizing it.
Yep.
So let's talk about data security and breaches. Unsanctioned tools often just don't meet an organization's security standards, which makes them vulnerable.
Big time.
For example, maybe a marketing team is using ChatGPT with sensitive client data. That could expose that information on unsecured servers, violating privacy policies, potentially leading to some hefty fines.
Definitely.
Then there's data leakage, right? Where sensitive information is inadvertently shared. This could be an employee sharing client personal data via a non-secure public link, maybe?
Or storing critical files on a personal Google Drive that later gets hacked. It happens.
And it's not just sneaks. Shadow IT can actually be a gateway for malware and ransomware attacks.
Yeah, downloading unverified third-party software from untrusted sources. That's a direct line for malicious code into the company network.
Plus, there are significant compliance and legal issues. When data is handled outside approved systems, well, it can lead to a failure to adhere to strict data protection laws. Think GDPR, HIPAA, CCPA, PCI DSS.
All the big ones.
Exactly. And the penalties. We're talking hefty fines and serious reputational damage. We also see redundancy and inefficiency creeping in. Different teams might end up paying for similar services, right? Wasting money and scattering information into these isolated data silos.
Yeah, that silo effect is a real productivity killer, too.
Totally. Think of a sales team adopting their own CRM. It might lead to duplicated customer data, maybe missed appointments, because it just doesn't integrate with the official system.
Right. No single source of truth.
Ultimately, all this leads to a loss of IT governance and control. Without a unified view of all the tools being used, it becomes incredibly challenging to manage resources, ensure data integrity, and maintain a cohesive IT strategy.
So, given all those risks,
Yeah,
and they are significant, this raises an important question. Is shadow IT always bad?
that's what I was wondering.
Surprisingly, if you look deeper, it can reveal some valuable insights and even innovative potential.
Really? How so?
Well, it can actually act as a sort of grassroots feedback mechanism. It directly reveals the genuine needs and preferences of users when the existing IT solutions are falling short.
Ah, okay. So it highlights gaps.
Exactly. It can also foster faster innovation by allowing teams to test new ideas or improve workflows quickly, without waiting for those lengthy approval or procurement processes. And ultimately, it represents a kind of collective problem solving. Consider an example I heard about, an access database solution developed by a trainer just on their own initiative that eventually evolved into a critical work vehicle for like 300 people.
Wow.
Or another one, a factory floor spreadsheet cobbled together by an employee that morphed into a useful, fully supported mainframe application later on.
So accidental innovation almost.
Kind of. This perspective emphasizes that shadow IT is often a symptom of a problem, not necessarily the problem itself. It highlights that need for a healthy balance between maintaining control and, enabling freedom for innovation.
That's a fascinating perspective, truly. But I have to ask, isn't there a huge tension here? How do organizations genuinely embrace those benefits without just opening the floodgates to immense security risks? How do you actually balance that innovation with safeguarding sensitive data?
That's precisely the challenge, you're right. And it leads us nicely into the next phase of our discussion, how modern solutions are actually stepping up to help manage this.
Okay, great. But first, this deep dive is brought to you by www.cisomarketplace.com, your trusted resource for cybersecurity insights and solutions. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're talking about shadow IT and the evolving security landscape. So let's talk about the modern business environment. Businesses today are rapidly adopting multi-cloud setups, right? Combining public, private, hybrid cloud services, all to get optimal flexibility, scalability, cost efficiency.
It's the norm now, pretty much.
But this complex ecosystem,
Yeah.
it also introduces some significant data security challenges. Data is often distributed across multiple cloud providers, maybe on-premise infrastructure, various applications.
Yeah, it's spread out everywhere.
Which critically complicates implementing consistent data protection policies. It also introduces something called policy shadowing. Ever heard of that?
I have, yeah. It's a tricky one.
Explain that a bit. It's where, like a broad, overarching cloud policy might unintentionally override or obscure a very specific granular security rule set lower down.
That's it, exactly. Imagine a company-wide open access policy for, say, general file sharing. But that broad rule might accidentally negate a critical no entry without specific badge access rule for your most sensitive server room, or the digital equivalent.
Creating a hidden backdoor you didn't even know existed.
Precisely, a hidden vulnerability caused by conflicting policies. And placing this in the bigger picture, traditional data loss prevention or DLP, those strategies and technologies aimed at preventing unauthorized access or leakage of sensitive data, it really struggles in these dynamic multi-cloud environments.
Why is that?
Well, traditional DLP is sort of designed for a fortress with static walls, right? Predictable boundaries. But in the multi-cloud, data moves like liquid. It flows between services, platforms, users.
Oh, okay. It's not static.
Not at all. And this fundamental mismatch is why traditional DLP often creates a false sense of security. Organizations think they're covered with their robust perimeter defenses, but the static rules simply can't keep pace with the fluid nature of today's data flows, user access patterns, and all those diverse cloud platforms. It leaves gaps.
Right. And here's maybe a surprising twist for some listeners. When we talk data security, we often jump straight to thinking about external hackers, right? The shadowy figures trying to break in.
That's the common image, yeah.
But insider threats are equally, if not sometimes more, critical and complex. And here's a surprising fact. While yes, there are malicious insiders who intentionally seek to harm an organization,
It definitely exists.
a striking 55% of insider threat incidents are actually due to negligence or just mistakes, not malice.
That's a huge percentage.
It is. This includes employees who are simply careless, maybe unaware of security risks, or perhaps those who are exploited by external attackers. the misdirected or compromised insiders through things like phishing or social engineering.
The accidental insider threat?
Exactly. But how can traditional security tools like identity and access management, IAM, or web application and API protection, WAP, how can they truly protect against this? They often implicitly trust that an authenticated user is legitimate.
Generally, yes. Once you're logged in, you're trusted to some extent.
Which means they often lack the ability to effectively monitor user and identity behavior after that initial login. And that creates some critical security gaps.
And what's truly revolutionary here, I think, is how AI and machine learning are transforming DLP. They're providing dynamic, intelligent security measures that actually evolve with the cloud environment.
Okay, so how does that work in practice?
Well, take data discovery and classification. AI automates the identification and categorization of sensitive data. Things like personally identifiable information, financial records, intellectual property across the entire multi-cloud ecosystem. It continuously scans and automatically tags data by its sensitivity level. No more manual tagging headaches.
That sounds much more efficient.
It is. Then there's real-time monitoring and behavioral analysis. Unlike older systems needing manual setup, AI, specifically unsupervised machine learning, learns normal behavior patterns on its own, just by observing.
So it establishes a baseline.
Exactly. This allows it to identify and flag abnormal deviations in real time. For instance, an employee suddenly downloading unusually large volumes of data, or maybe attempting to access sensitive info from an untrusted network, or even a personal device they've never used before.
And it catches that quickly.
Much quicker. This capability significantly reduces that window of vulnerability between an action happening and it being detected. And it gets even better with automated data loss prevention and response. AI can trigger immediate automated actions, like blocking an upload to an unapproved cloud storage provider.
Oh, interesting.
Or encrypting data in transit automatically, quarantining a suspicious file, or even initiating self-healing processes in response to a detected breach.
So it acts immediately based on the threat level.
That's the idea. And finally, these AI-powered DLP systems integrate seamlessly with other security tools. IAM, cloud-native security tools like firewalls, threat intelligence platforms for a truly unified security strategy. They're constantly learning from global threat data to refine policies and responses. It's a much more proactive defense.
Okay, so that's the AI-enhanced DLP. How does this AI evolution specifically help us tackle those tricky insider threats we talked about? Well, new solutions are leveraging that unsupervised machine learning-based behavioral analytics, notably something called identity journey analytics.
Identity journey analytics. Tell me more.
So these systems learn the typical journeys. Think of them as sequences of activities that authenticated users perform within and across different applications and cloud services. What's normal for Jane in sales accessing Salesforce, then SharePoint, then Outlook.
Right. Mapping out the standard workflow.
Exactly. This allows them to detect anomalous journeys, paths that deviate significantly from the norm, and are highly correlated with malicious activities. This moves way beyond the limitations of static rules, which, let's be honest, often produce way too many false positives.
The alert fatigue problem.
Precisely. The benefits here are really remarkable. We're talking accelerating insider threat detection from potentially months down to just hours.
Hours. That's incredible.
And reducing those false positive alerts by orders of magnitude. Think going from maybe hundreds per week down to typically just 1 to 3 accurate, high-fidelity alerts that security teams can actually focus on.
That saves a huge amount of time and effort.
Absolutely. And this expands accurate detection across all application types, whether it's SaaS, custom-built on-premise apps, and dramatically improves efficiency and collaboration for security teams. They're not chasing ghosts anymore.
That makes a lot of sense. And looking at the larger landscape, automation also plays a pivotal role in preventing shadow IT right at its root, particularly when it comes to public cloud provisioning.
Also,
Well, one key approach is self-service automated configuration scanning. This uses tools like orchestrators, maybe Rundeck, automation tools like Ansible, scripting languages like Python.
it's automating the checks.
Exactly. To continuously monitor cloud configurations against established cybersecurity standards, think NIST 853, HIPAA, PCI DSS, SOSO, ISO. This ensures ongoing compliance and very swiftly identifies any discrepancies or misconfigurations that could be exploited.
And the financial benefits.
Oh, they're significant. Implementing this kind of automation translates directly into operational efficiency and cost savings. You've got reduced manual oversight. Staff can be redirected to higher value activities.
Right, freeing up resources.
It also mitigates those security-related financial risks by averting costly breaches in the first place. It helps optimize cloud resources by pinpointing waste or underutilization. It helps avoid those hefty compliance-related fines. And it also enhances system reliability, preventing expensive downtime through proper, consistent configuration management. I saw a real-world case study, actually, where an organization achieved zero critical and high-level vulnerabilities. Zero. And increased its compliance level from about 67% to 82% within 3 years. All by proactively managing over 35,000 cloud resources and, get this, discovering 120 previously unknown cloud accounts through this process.
Wow, that really shows the power of automating that oversight.
It really does. That's the power of automation in this space.
Okay, so it's pretty clear that simply trying to ban shadow IT is, well, often unrealistic and, as you said, can even stifle innovation. The focus really needs to be on smart, proactive management rather than just reactive blocking.
Agreed. Blocking everything is rarely the answer.
So what does that look like? First, organizations need to set clear guidelines, right? Implement simple, easy to understand policies about which tools are approved and why, explaining the risks of using unauthorized software.
Communication is key there.
Absolutely. And crucially, involve employees in software selection processes. This helps ensure their needs are actually heard and reduces the likelihood that they'll feel the need to seek out unsanctioned alternatives.
Makes them part of the solution.
And of course, provide user-friendly alternatives. Offer modern, intuitive software that truly supports their workflows, lowering the temptation to just grab whatever outside tool seems easier. Awareness, as we touched on, is absolutely key too. Many employees simply don't realize the risks involved.
It's often just ignorance, not malice.
Exactly. Regular internal sessions, maybe quick e-learnings, security awareness campaigns can make a huge difference. I saw a 2023 report that highlighted that a remarkable 94% of respondents actually changed their behavior after cybersecurity training.
94%, that's effective.
Yeah, with many starting to use multi-factor authentication or just becoming better at recognizing phishing attempts. So training works.
Clearly.
And finally, monitor with flexibility. Use monitoring tools, yes, to identify shadow IT usage, but then respond with a human touch. Instead of playing the blame game, talk to the teams, understand why they use those external tools, and focus on solving the actual underlying problem together.
That approach fosters trust, too.
It does. Which brings us to a crucial point, I think. How does the IT department successfully transition from being seen as just a gatekeeper to becoming a true strategic partner within the organization?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It really involves, first, streamlining IT processes, using automation, simplifying those approval workflows, anything that can expedite the provisioning of IT resources and enhance user satisfaction. Make IT easy to work with.
Reduce the friction.
Precisely. It also means fostering active engagement and communication with users, educating them about the available IT resources and solutions, listening to their needs, and developing solutions collaboratively.
So a two-way street.
Absolutely. This partnership approach, it really helps to significantly reduce the prevalence of shadow IT simply by providing timely and relevant solutions that actually meet user needs. It also enhances organizational agility, enabling quicker adaptation to market changes, technology advancements, and improves risk management by ensuring that security and compliance are baked into all IT solutions from the start.
Not just an afterthought.
Exactly. And, a clear sign of this evolving, more integrated approach to IT management is the growing trend of organizations adopting formal insider risk management programs. The prediction is that this will rise from maybe 10% of organizations today to a significant 50% by 2025.
Wow, a 5-fold increase expected. That shows a real shift in thinking.
It really does. It shows companies are taking that internal landscape much more seriously and holistically.
So, quite a journey we've taken today. We've explored shadow IT from its kind of unexpected origins and its often underestimated risks, all the way to its surprising benefits as a potential source of innovation. We've also delved into the critical role of AI and automation in bolstering data loss prevention and, importantly, detecting those insider threats in today's complex multi-cloud environments. We've seen how a balanced, proactive approach, one rooted in smart technology, clear policies, and really strong communication, can actually turn those potential digital shadows into opportunities for both growth and security.
It's about finding that balance.
Yeah. So what does this all mean for you listening in? As technology continues to evolve at lightning speed, are you consciously part of the solution by understanding the complexities of your digital footprint? Or perhaps are you inadvertently contributing to the shadows? Something to think about. Stay curious, keep learning, and maybe keep asking the why behind the tools you find yourself using every day. And remember, for more insights into safeguarding your digital world, you can always visit our sponsor, www.cisomarketplace.com. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.